Okay. A while back we tied this pattern. Um, I forget the name of it, but we'll do some similar to this, and then we'll do maybe a variation of it. And so it was bucktail. There's some foam underneath, and then it's coated with silicone. The bucktail isn't tied in, it's just pressed into the silicone. And so we'll try to kind of recreate this one and then maybe do a variation of it as well. So here we go. Silicone fly. Start with this. We'll do a sparse tail. I want to add a little bit more flash, and I want to add a little bit more foam. I think the original pattern is kind of designed subsurface or hovering, but I want mine to float. So we'll add a little bit more foam and a little bit more flash. Okay. I'm thinking, yeah, maybe the whole thing. We'll try to get the foam around the whole body. It's a lot more silicone though. I'll have to think about this. Maybe you have to change the material or add something to the material, make it a little flashy. Well, let's see. But our first tie-in will be bucktail. A little piece, a little clump of bucktail. And then we'll just eyeball the tips, we'll pull out the shorts. Then we'll pull some longs. There are a few more shorts in there. Then we'll clean up the butt. Go ahead and tie that in. Okay. I like the thin lateral scale. In terms of like bang for your buck, a few pieces of this lateral scale, they have the thick one and the thin one, but the thin one I think gives you the most bang for your buck. A lot of patterns you're tying in clumps of flash, but with this you only need 1 or 2 strands, and it goes a long way. It shows up in the water. So if you're into sparsely dressing your flies, the lateral scale is the way to go. We're gonna have to kind of production tie this, in that the silicone will need time to dry. So as the silicone is drying, we might start on another pattern or tie something else up. I really need more of the deer hair divers, but I don't want to do those again. We did those yesterday. Try to switch it up. Okay, lateral scale on both sides, slightly longer than the tail. This also makes for really good flashback for like a Copper John or Guide's Choice hare's ear. Just again, 1 strip goes a long way. It's really nice. So we have I'm gonna do another clump. I'm gonna do another clump of bucktail. Because I don't know how much material I'll be able to get in on the body. So we'll try to fill it out with another clump of bucktail. Eyeball measure, clean up the butts. That's good. A drop of super glue wouldn't hurt at your tie-in point. I'm gonna work this around and then tighten it up. Now I will tie off. Oh, that was weird. Okay. I need a cylindrical, a foam cylinder would be best. I don't have one. So I'm measuring out the length of the body, and then I'm going to like cigarette roll a cylinder, and then we'll try to place that on top. We'll slit it and then we'll place it. So we'll, the size, shape seem good. Let's add a little bit of glue. It's probably too much. We'll spread the glue out. And then we will roll it up carefully without gluing my fingers together. Ooh. That got hot for some reason. There's a little bit more we need to glue. Glue it up. Let that set. Let's take out that excess. Okay, hopefully it's dry, probably not. I'm going to, there's a little lip right there. I'm going to try to soften that lip out by burning the foam. That's good. I kind of made a semicircle, which is fine. We melted a bit too much. Now I'm gonna slit. I shouldn't have tied off. I should have kept the thread on there. I'm gonna create a slit into the foam. That's pretty deep. I want to try it deep. No. Let's try to do this without tying. I'm going to add some glue into the slit. We'll just try to glue it on there. In the slit. Hopefully it doesn't spin on us. Place it on. And then, yeah, not working. If we could get this to close on itself, that would be nice. I'm gonna try. I'm gonna put a little bit of glue, then I'm gonna clamp it, and maybe it'll close in on itself if we let it set. That would be ideal. Oh, what the heck. Oh, but it's better than it was. Yeah. Let that kind of set like that. All right. Let's get our silicone. I don't know where the silicone is. Hopefully we still have it. Oh no. Where's the silicone? Where is the silicone? Got it here. There it is. Okay. It's clogged up a bit. Oh, this is interesting. So I was playing with this concept of like threading foam on, and like I think that would be cool on a hook. You could do some interesting things like threading foam on a hook, but that's for a different day. Okay. I cleared the nozzle. I need, let me get some tissue before we. Might have to wipe the fingers. It closed a little bit, but it's not spinning, which I think is a victory in itself. It would be, I don't think it needs any more material. So this would just be external. You could just paint this and it would fish fine. But it would, I think we'll go for more of like a three-dimensional look. was thinking about like synthetic hair, but I don't love it. However, a little bit, I think a little bit of it, we'll do a blend. So a little bit of synthetic plus there's a flash, very fine flash called angel hair flash. This is a little bit dark, but it might look good with the white bucktail, the gray synthetic, and then the darker angel flash. So we'll gently tease some of this out. And we'll match it with our hair, synthetic hair. Let's try to find the end. We got to keep all this straight. Give it a trim. And then we'll tease it together. Try to mix it, blend it. I don't think we need much material. I don't know how this is going to turn out. And then I guess we can, maybe we double it back and then trim it up. I want the butts even though. Let's clip that. We'll clip this to kind of hold it. We'll put the silicone. I think you do on the finger, maybe on the foam. I don't know. On the finger, on the foam. Or you just gloop it on there. Then you smooth it out with your finger. Once it's coated, get your material. We're going to kind of spread this out. Then you place your material. Then oh buddy, this is not going well. I'm stuck. Maybe a tool, we need a tool. We'll use a card. Make a little spatula. More silicone. This seems a little bit thicker than it must have gotten old. Okay, we'll just try that. It's a lot of effort for a fly. Smearing the silicone onto the that's terrible. material for the sides and the belly, which is not what I like, but we're committed. I think it takes like 24 hours for it to fully set, which is, again, not practical for fly tying. This placement's gonna be tough. That wasn't bad. What the heck? That's just gonna, we're gonna have to, we're not doing any more of this. A little bit of silicone. Now I know why you use bucktail. And the thinner material is so unruly. I think the bucktail is easier to manage. The one I saw, they were very systematic in how they laid the bucktail out, and then they had a system of adding the bucktail to the foam. The first one we did was easier because we were covering less foam. What I'm trying to do now is just make sure it's covered, and then after it sets, we go back and we clean it up. I think that's the only way you can do it. But it's got to be well integrated. Or the material will slip. I don't think it dries very clear. So we can come back with a razor and trim all that out, which is good. I think that's about as good as we can get it for now. I really want to kind of brush this out, but I'm afraid I'm gonna pull the material. Everything, there's a patch, a bald patch here, a bald patch here, but it's not gonna, it's aesthetic, it's not gonna impact the fishing. There's plenty of material. The shape is nice. A ton of flash, a flow. So it should work, but it doesn't look very pretty right now. I think that's all we can do for now. So we'll set that aside and do something else. Come back to this. Yeah. We'll clean up the ends. We'll add an eye, but you kind of can see the concept. Yes. All right. That went about as well as I expected, which was not very well. Yesterday we tied this crease, which I wanted something small, but now that I look at it, the tail is really quite undesirably short. So we'll do another crease. We'll try to make it better. We chose the wrong material last time for that crease. What size hook was that? Maybe it's the same. Yeah, the same size. Okay. Right. Nimby says, "Hey mate, what's up, Nimby? What's going on?" Nimby, I think, is in Canada, from what I recall. I like Nimby's channel. Nimby's got a good channel. We'll do this one with actual proper bucktail tail. Proper tail. Not too long though. And then so that's quite heavy for a tail clump, but this will be the only hair we tie in. So it'll work. Clean up the butts. And we'll work that material around. Crank down on the thread. Let's add our lateral scale. 2 on each side. Thread base for the gluing. What am I doing? Let's check that. Yeah, that looks okay. 2 mil foam, measure out the length of the belly. That looks about right. That looks about right. The belly piece is quite small. Add some glue to the foam. Give it a smear. Place it. And then squeeze it up. Just from my vantage, it looks like there's kind of a slope there, so I'm just knocking it down. There probably isn't. You could also like step by step paint this. You could like paint the belly first. It might look cleaner. We're not going to do that. Then we'll add our second foam. We want it extending past, but not too much. It's a little wide. And a little long. That's good. And then we will shape it. So we'll take a pretty sharp, creating that body shape there, so the tail comes to a point. And just that extra glue, that extra foam will give you more flotation. It's still a little bit long on the sides. Just take a little bit off. Okay. Gluey, gluey. But not all the way to the back of that point, because you don't want to get glue on that bucktail. And we place it. And then we squeeze it. That looks good. Get rid of any excess glue. We're gonna rush this and paint it. One of the strips of flash was a little bit crooked. We'll do this one, it will be all just silver. We're not gonna two-tone this one. Or what the nails in the lady shop call diamond. This is diamond. And let that dry. Let that dry a bit. We'll start something else. Should we check our silicone? No, we're jumping the gun there, man. There's no way that thing's ready. Let's do a little search. Let's do a little search. Flat-faced poppers, I don't fish a lot of like flat-faced poppers. They're good to have, but I think that's more of like a farm pond pattern, and the water I'm fishing is a massive reservoir. That gets a lot of pressure. So those flat-faced poppers, cork poppers, don't really work. But let's do a quick Google search. Maybe I can get some inspiration. Yep. Deer hair poppers, 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 poppers. Oh, this one's interesting. The Gart Side Bass Bug. That's kind of cool looking. The Gart Side Bass Bug. I know there's Gart Side Gurgler. I think it's Gart Side Gurgler. Gart Side. Gart Side must be a person. Maybe you tie the Gart Side Bass Bug. It looks like it has a foam back. Hackle, palmered hackle body, marabou tail. I don't know if it's supposed to be like a bass pattern or definitely panfish. It's got panfish written all over it. Jack Gartside, that's the fly tire. I think he has a lot of patterns. Let's try it. Let's try the Gartside bass bug. There are cut foam legs that you could pair with this, and I think it looks pretty good. But we don't have any of those pre-cut frog legs. So we'll have to think of something else. We could do like a rubber, something rubber. We'll try to do something rubber. This will be an experiment. This are medium size for now. I'll keep the pink thread because it doesn't look like there's much in terms of wraps. But I think this fly is a top back tie. This will be interesting. Okay. So the first thing we want to do is tie in legs. Legs, I'm thinking we'll do the barred rubber, round rubber. But we'll have to knot them in a way that they have the proper joints. So we'll do one knot for like a foot. And then we'll try to do another knot for a knee. This doesn't, this is not important. You just tie in the rubber without any knots, it'll be fine. Okay, yeah. So now we have kind of an angled situation. Not very much. And then we would tie in. It's not a very, yeah, that's better. I think we tie in so it's out, flaring out. But do I tie it in on the side or do I tie it in on top? Maybe this side, yeah, this side. So it's flaring out. Okay, one leg is in. Let's do the other one. That's a three strips. Here's 4. Let's remove. Take one off. One knot for the foot. Come on, foot. One knot for the knee. Let's measure similar to what we have. Tie it on the side, concave out. Pretty thin, pretty scrawny legs. Wait, is it the same? No, the foot, this foot is a little bit longer. Now the knee is a little bit long. Yeah, that's concave out. Okay. Let's trim it out. Lock them in. I'm going to do a little bit of hackle as well. Here's a shorty. I should have done the hackle before I tied in the, so I should have done the hackle in between the legs. a little bit of character. Okay, let's press, and then tie it back. Yeah, that's okay. All right, now this was the part I'm a little bit confused on. So it looks like now we go back up front. Let's get a phone. Big ol'. I don't know how big this is, like 4 mil. Just thick stuff. From the picture, I don't know if we'll be able to work with this. It might be too thick. I want to work with it because I think there's not going to be a lot of flotation happening with just 2 mil. But the trick to this is the shape. The picture I'm looking at, the fly has a really nice shape. There's a taper toward the head, and then there's an additional taper toward the back. And you would achieve that with some longer cuts, longer angled cuts, and then shallower angled cuts. But is it gonna fold? That's what I'm worried about. And I don't think that's gonna fold. So we need 2 mil foam. Longer angled cut. Toward the head. Sharper angled cut toward the back. I think that will give us the shape we want. Maybe even steeper in the front. Okay. Let's get close to that eye. I don't think this has much action. I think it's more of like a silhouette. It's just gonna kind of scoot on the water. That's too long. We will deal with that when we get there. All right, we need a body. We need a body material, and then we need legs. So a smaller, I think a hackle would be nice for the body material. I think a hackle would be nice. But I'm worried. Yeah, a hackle would be nice actually. Let's try to do a hackle. Let's try to do a hackle. I'm trying to visualize what it would look like, just hackle with foam wrap underneath. It's not going to look very cool. We don't have to worry about the width of the silhouette, so the material on the body can be thin. The foam is going to overlap, and so the silhouette will be as wide as the foam back. And no hackles. We will do some chenille. We don't tie with a lot of chenille. This is like a barred chenille, it looks like. Black and olive. Oh no, what am I doing? I gotta tie the other way. I gotta tie everything at the front. Let's do the rubber legs first. So the pattern I'm looking at has little rubber legs that stick out, almost like whiskers, which may or may not be necessary. But there's a set of whiskers on this side. And do a set of whiskers on this side. Maybe we end up trimming those down. We had our piece of chenille we cut out. Where did it go? There it is. I need one wrap at the front, and then I need a wrap at the back. So yeah, this is kind of stage a tier. Let's tie in, and then we'll advance our thread to about right past the legs, right there. The leg tying point. Then we'll wrap. Let's get around the legs. Then we lock it off. Then we create the head. Legs inside the head or outside? I think out inside the head. And then we gotta make sure the head is even. Right now it's not even. There, it looks even. This is too big. This is too big. But I don't know how to get it. I know what to do. Right there. Okay, now we crank. And now we advance our thread all the way to the back. And then we end up finishing the fly in the back. We gotta wrap our chenille, cover our thread, hopefully cover our thread. And the thread's pretty much covered. Tie off here. And not trap our hackles, come on. Okay. We gotta deal with this back body. I think that's the right length. And then we gotta cut a tie-in point. And then one wrap. That's weak looking frog. I'm not gonna whip it, I'm just gonna glue it. Add a little glue to the thread. And then we'll whack it. We gotta fix the body shape. That's the profile. It's the legs suck. The legs need more meat. The body's fine, but the legs suck. I think this is kind of a novelty, but maybe old Dartside had success. Maybe we will have success too. Could throw some eyeballs on there. I don't know where you'd place them. Ideally, right on the side, but because of the angle, you're not going to be able to glue them. We're going to cut out a little eye spot on the side. We'll glue on the eye, on our eye spot. Everything looks better with an eye. Gartside is a world famous tire. I'm not ragging on him. The man is a legend. One thing, but this is 100% for the fisherman, is every foam pattern always gets little decorations. Helping with the confidence. I like the chisel tip on the marker. You can get interesting shapes. Yeah. Something like that. But again, it's those legs. Those legs are weak. Maybe we can add a little character to the belly. And the side. Yeah. Might be a good idea to kind of clear coat it as well. But yeah, I don't think this is going to be floating very high. Given the amount of foam that's on it, I think it's going to sit quite low. A foam body wrap would help. So instead of the chenille using, a foam spiral wrap, it would help with the flotation. And then if you did it bigger, you could use thicker foam. Back to the crease fly. Yeah, look at those tiny little legs. And my knots are all jacked up. I thought I was getting clever with the knotting, but now they're all willy-nilly. Disappointed. All right, crease fly should be good. Crease fly only needs the throat, and then we'll do eyeballs on the crease fly. Then we'll check on the silicone. A little toothpick action. Just press that on our fly. Get our eyeball. Eyeballs don't matter for the crease fly. But everything looks better with eyeballs. Oh yeah. Okay. I'll let that one dry out. But this one that'll work. Don't know about the frog. Let that one dry out. Let's check on our silicone. Here's the old siliconer. Yeah, silicone is dried. Still feels soft. I'm not gonna mess with it. We're just gonna overnight that. I'm not gonna mess with it. I think we have time for one more. One more pattern. Back to Google. What do we got? What do we got? Oh, this one looks interesting. So, website Emerald Watered Anglers has this pattern called Moore's Foam Book. It costs $9. Um, I'll try to show you. Look at that beauty. It's got a big old hammerhead. But I don't know why you would do that. Obviously you want something to float, but it's gonna, yeah, maybe maybe the hang is where it's at. Where are you from? Where do you do your fishing is less weird question. I live in Seoul, South Korea. I fish in South Korea, but I've also lived in America, and I've fished in America, and I've fished in Japan and the Philippines and Malaysia. I was recently in, where was I? The Netherlands. I fished in the Netherlands. Yeah, trying to think. I'll be in Idaho in a few months, fishing in Idaho. But my home water is still Colorado. I've fished longer in Colorado than I have in Korea. And I only started fly fishing for bass in Korea. The American largemouth bass is all over South Korea. There's some pretty good ones, but it's tough. We'll do this Moore's Foam Book. I don't have any cylinders, so I'm gonna have to do that same cigarette roll technique. It looks like there is a material brush, rubber leg, and then hackle tail, which all of that is pretty basic. So Moore's Foam Book. Phone book? Phone book. Still a little bit confused on the function of this particular pattern, but we'll go for it. Looks like everything's tied in pretty close to the eye of the hook, and then it utilizes the length of the material to cover the rest, which is a good technique. All right. I'll do some olive. I'm gonna try to make this the most realistic and fishable as I can. And I think darker is gonna be better. So maybe even a black. You got a brown, you got a black. And then not much olive. We'll do an olive, and then we'll do one bright chartreuse. That's an ugly feather. This is an ugly fly. We'll start with the brown. I'm just gonna tie everything on top. I'll do everything on top. Usually I'm doing 2 of each, but because this one seems like a kind of like just like a hodgepodge freestyle, I'm just doing 1 of each. And I think the beauty of this is going to be in the chaos. This feather needs to be turned around. Okay, there's our, we'll do our black. And then we'll do our chartreuse on this side. Maybe we do 2 chartreuse. And we'll do 2 chartreuse. I'm gonna take out that chartreuse. This one is too bright. The other ones can't match the brightness. They're a little bit darker. So we'll do the darker, 2 of the darker. These are ugly, ugly feathers. Oh, I jack that up. These are really ugly feathers. Look at how ugly these feathers are. Perfect. Okay. Do 1 on each side. Making a mess. Lock them in. Getting that foam block on there seems like that's going to be the trickiest part. We might have to do, instead of like a cylinder, we might do a square. I don't think the roundness matters. So yeah, we'll do like a triangle square. And then we have this thicker foam, we'll glue 2 pieces and then we'll angle it. Might even be a better action. Body wrap. We have a darker wrap. A little bit of this goes a long way. And we might end up cutting down this this wrap. Notch out a little timing point. I think you want to tie it in wrap facing back. I'm always confused about that. Wrap facing back. Wrap. One wrap. Two wrap. And stop. Trimmy trim. Now rubber. Yeah, that body wrap's almost as long as the hackle, so let's thin that out. We can keep a few long ones, but majority has to go. Okay, rubber legs. We'll do bright. We'll do something bright. We'll mix bright and dark. I don't know how they tie jig skirts, but I think this is like a jig skirt. People who tie jigs, bass jigs, are good at tying these rubber legs. Come on. Okay, so I have a clump of brown and a clump of chartreuse. And then do I separate them first or tie them in first? Well, let's measure. I think I only want like this much. And then we'll double it up on itself. So about this much. And then we will, this is an interesting technique. You wrap the material around the thread, then you put the thread on top. And now I will start to separate it, but there's not a good mix, so maybe this is not a good technique. This might go into the giveaway box. I've never put this much rubber on a fly. Okay, so our rubber is separated. Now we need to position the skirt. Looks pretty well positioned. This one is still connected. Let's tighten it down. Let's swoop it back. And we'll lock it in. I need this. I need plenty of thread around the rubber because we're gonna glue, and that super glue eats at that silicone, and it'll break the legs if you're not careful. So a little thread base doesn't hurt. How's our distribution? Those legs are gonna get caught up in that hook. Okay, head. Okay. Why does it have to be green? I think it should be black. I think we should have left more. We tied too far up. We should have left more space for the hook gap. So we'll trim this down a bit. Try to keep it long. Hammerhead style. Think about our placement. That looks good. I'm gonna take a little bit off each side. A little bit off that side, a little bit off that side, and then I'm gonna notch it. I'm gonna notch it to help with the that material buildup. And then I'm gonna score it so it can sink. It's not gonna sink completely, but it'll sink a little bit. So I'm gonna score each side. And then for the gluing, I'm gonna glue kind of piece by piece. Bottom first and then top. And then we will shape it at the end. Glued my finger. Let's get our next piece. I just added glue to the middle. Now I'll add glue to the edges. Okay. Clean up all that excess. And then the cool feature, I think, of this one is the angled head. So we'll make our cut angling out. Maybe sharper. Oh, that's way too sharp. What the heck? That's way too sharp. That's way too sharp. I need to soften those edges. Hopefully I don't burn down the house. And then we'll do eyeballs. Big ones. Big ones. These might be too big. Almost to the right size though. I think we do it though, oversized. This has to be flat in order for the eye to sit properly. If it's not flat, it's gonna fall apart. Not quite the same as the picture. Not quite the same, but interesting enough. Now that I think about it, they could do like a cool frog like this. It's got potential. But I think the action is just gonna so you cast it, it's gonna make a tremendous plop, and then it'll just hang down. And then you strip it, it'll come, and then I think it'll hang down again. So cool, kind of cool concept. Certainly a bassy bug. We're stopping. I've had enough. I'll catch you guys later. There we go.